All right, YouTube. Today we had. Wait, hold on. Which again? What kind of? You getting a low tape, mid tape, low tape, mid tape? All right, all right. What's going on, YouTube? Today we got a simple low taper for dummies, brother. If you don't understand this video, then you might as well retire the clippers, stop cutting hair, call it a day, go to a barber. But low taper for dummies, if you like, these are the most simplified steps that you probably gonna get on YouTube, the most explained video. So we just gonna hop straight into it. I showed my client, boom, boom. Probably been a while since he got a haircut, but we're just gonna hop straight into the video. All right, y'all, for the tools that we'll be using today, for the tools that you will only be using for this video, will be a pair of clippers and a pair of trimmers. Trimmers is what creates the hard lines, so like the lineup and stuff like that around the perimeter of the hair. Boom, right here. He should have a lineup in the front. And this is what we use to fade. This is a different type of blade. It don't come with this blade, but this is a the Nicole edition Babyliss Low Pros. Boom. They're pretty good, very, very, very good. And these are considered low pros. These are the low pro trimmer edition. This is a different type of blade on there. It did not come with this blade. This is a pretty old, not old, but you know, used, very heavily used trimmer. All right, y'all, whenever y'all dealing, or if y'all are dealing with a client with long hair, the first thing you do want to try to do is pin his hair up. We can't use these obviously because it's not going to do what it needs to do. So we're going to use our money clips. You can use whatever you got to do to pin this hair up. Go ahead and do it, y'all. But we can use money clips, I'm thinking, for this video. We're about to try it. All it is little Velcro clips. And it attaches to the head. You kind of just got to wiggle it a little bit and then attach it to his head. And it's stuck up in there. It's good. It should be good for the duration of the haircut. And we're going to do both sides. That's the first step, especially when your client has long hair. You always want to pin the hair up that you do not want to cut. So boom, and that's it. And as you can see, our client's hair is everywhere. So right now, first we're going to take the brush, kind of separate everything. Boom. And then once you separate everything, and we're going to do that all throughout the entirety of the hair, you want to take a comb. A comb is really good when it comes to fading because it lifts everything up off of the scalp, and that's what we need to create a successful blend. Just comb everything out with the grain. With the grain is going in the same direction as the hair wants to grow. The hair wants to go down, so that's the way we comb it. All right, now the next step is to set in all of the guidelines. We will be setting in the guidelines with our trimmers. Mid tape, we're gonna start at about right here, but we will be fading in all of this area right here. You cut all this off on the side? All right. Mid tape, it's the same exact placement. Whenever we place the guideline in, that first ball guideline in, for the other side, it will be in the same exact side. We're gonna use the top of his ear, where the top of his ear kind of starts at. The reason why you do wanna keep a placement when setting in these guidelines is so the hair could come out even. We wanna make sure both of the tapers are both a mid tape, and one isn't way buku higher than the other, or one isn't way higher than the other, or one isn't way lower than the other side taper. And another reason why we do want to bald out the taper is simply because it just gets a nice, clean cut look to it. And that's why you want to bald out that first guideline. It's always a nicer and cleaner look. Now to start off, we're going to be debulking. We're going to take a number 3 guard at first. Just to kind of mess around, we're going to start with a higher guard first because we don't really know what we're getting into, what's the highest guard that we're going to be using. So we're going to take a 3 guard, level all the way close, and debulk all of this. And this is considered going against the grain. Because he has straighter hair or looser hair, his hair, whenever you cut it, it falls off a lot, you know, more than somebody with more coarser hair. So whenever you might run into somebody with a coarse hair, you might want to use a lower guard or a smaller guard just to cut the hair down. Because cutting their hair down, a coarse person's hair down with a number 2 guard will probably, or number 3 guard will probably leave it a lot thicker than what was intended. So now we're about to take that 2 guard, level all the way open, and we're gonna work our way down. We want it at a nice level to where you can see all of our guidelines, see our blends really good, and it could be full and low enough for the client to where the haircut lasts. All right, so we did wind up going number 2 guard all the way closed. So now that we know, and then we did wind up going against the grain, so that now that we know the 2 guard will be the highest and biggest guard that we'll be using for the client's head. And then we're gonna move down, we're gonna start our fading down process from the 1.5. Then we're gonna do the 1 guard, boom, and I can't hold all of them in my hand at the same time. And then the bottom line will be the half guard, which is the 0.5. Now the first fading guideline. Level all the way open. And we're gonna go up, not really past his ear, just a little bit, matching the top of his ear. Boom. Because we wanna keep or preserve as much space as possible, especially whenever we're tapering. We don't wanna touch too much of this right here. That C cup is what's gonna bring this taper out. And then right now, from this point on, we start our fading down process, slowly closing the lever with our notches. And every time we close the lever with our notch, we move down. When I fade, you're only supposed to use a flicking out motion with your wrist and not be moving your hand like this. And I move side to side just so I could get every single hair strand. I'm gonna redo it, go back over it, just to make sure I got every piece of hair that I wanted to get. And that's it. Now because the 2 guard was the highest guard that we were using, we're just gonna go straight down with our 1.5. Just the guard right underneath the 2 guard and above the number 1 guard. Boom, and we're only gonna be working in a small area, y'all. And slowly move down. Every time we put on a new guard, the level will always be all the way open. Using our corners, we're gonna detail. Detailing is what's meant to break down the blend, to make the blend a lot more smoother so you can give that picture perfect barber cut if you're a barber, or if you're not a barber, you want your haircuts to start looking like a barber's haircut. You use your corners. That's the secret. Use your corners and detail. Boom. And y'all, I have my own clippers that's about to come out at the end of this month. It is May, at the end of May, like May 20th. My clippers will come out. The description for the clippers will be, or the link for the clippers will be in the comments or in the description, the bio for the video. Now we move on, number 1 guard. And y'all, the clippers, my clippers are similar to these clippers right here. I should have a video out in the next couple of days or whatnot, reviewing the clippers, unboxing the clippers, how much they cost. Just showing the ins and outs of the clipper. And basically right now we're just moving down, using our corners. Level all the way closed. And now we're at the bottom of the fade. Boom. Now for this, the 0.5 guard is the only guard that's a little bit different. Instead of going level all the way open, we're gonna go level all the way closed. And just touch the bottom of the blend. Not really fading anything, just pushing this guideline up just a tad bit. Not even really trying to push it up. And then we go level all the way open and we continue to fade. Yo, when I'm fading right here, just because this is the right side of his taper, I'm only using my corners. I'm not using this whole half of the clipper. It might look like I am, but I'm not. And this is how I'm preserving this C-cup area. So when we line up our client, it could look very, very good, as y'all about to see whenever we get to the lineup. And then after you finish fading, all it is just a lot of detailing. Go back in detail. Literally only use the side of your clipper. The side of your clipper blade, just to detail. And that's how you get that smooth blend that you want. All right, y'all, and then in the back of the hair, you want to proceed to do the same exact thing. Cutting the hair down, level all the way closed, because now we know that a number 2 guard will be the lever, you know, the biggest guard that we'll be using. And just go against the grain and cut everything down, like so. And then now we're gonna proceed to do the same exact steps. Notice how my client's hair on one side, this right side, it wants to start, it doesn't just go straight down, it wants to start growing this way. So now to get an efficient cut, I have to fade this way. That's where it kind of gets challenging when dealing with this type of hair type or dealing with a cowlick. It's called a cowlick. And to get a nice clean fade, you go against the grain. So just turn your clipper slightly if you're dealing with anything like that, or you're wondering why, you know, your client or whoever's hair that you're cutting is growing in a different pattern than the rest of the hair. Just take a small adjustment, turn your clippers to the side, and you should be very much okay, y'all. You know, just proceed, I can't even say the word, y'all. We just proceed to fade down. All right, y'all, so now we at the lineup part. It's a simple process for the lineup. You wanna get you some alcohol. I keep my alcohol in this little bottle. We're gonna zoom out so y'all can see. I keep my alcohol in this little bottle. Get a little cotton swab. You can use some tissue if you're cutting at home, brother, for your home hair cutters. And all you're doing is just wiping down the back line. Everything that you'll be lining up, you just wipe it down, just like that. And then using cold air to dry all that up. And then after all that is dry, what you wanna do, add some holding spray. Don't really matter what holding spray you use, just add some and then blow dry that on cold air. You always want to use cold air whenever you're, you know, turning something from a moist texture to dry, for real. Especially when it comes to getting that crispy line that you want or whatever. You always want the hair dry, you always want the skin dry, just so you can get them nice ash lines. And this is just my simple line prep. I have a more advanced line prep that I will be showing y'all, but this is just the simplest form of it. And it still leaves a nice look to your client. All right, y'all, this is the more advanced. We can kind of let these things down for right now. This is the more so advanced lineup prep. So for this lineup prep, what we'll be doing is getting our lather, putting the lather on our client, and we will be taking the lineup down just a little bit. We're gonna do it while our client is leaned back. And we are gonna go against the grain on his lineup as well and cut his line. We're gonna start with his lineup, cutting it down to about a 3 guard or a 2 guard. I'll let y'all know what I cut it down to. So now what we do, we get our lather, we distribute it on our client everywhere. And I use a brush, I just brush everything down. Just compacts the hair, just makes the client, it pretty much feels good to the client, and you could upcharge like a few dollars on your prices just for this. Boom. And we're gonna take a steaming hot towel, brother. Steaming hot towel. I know y'all be hearing Sly Honcho say that all the time. Steaming hot towel and place it on our client. And we leave it there for about 2 minutes and then take it off and then, you know, do what we did to the back line, just the regular alcohol swab, cold air, holding spray, cold air, lean our client up, then we'll get started on the lineup process, or the full, you know, trimmer to line. And you take the trimmer, angle it just a slight bit, and just going. And this is what our regular line prep, y'all. This is nothing fancy, just the basics, y'all. Y'all can get the same exact result. And it's a lot of information, valuable information inside of one video. I don't think the video is that long. I usually do like hour-long videos and stuff like that. It really helps people out. On this channel, we really break everything down so y'all are able to understand exactly what's going on at all times. Exactly what I'm thinking, I'm just saying it as I'm going. So I will have Academy coming out pretty soon, HYB Academy. My own clip about to come out. I will be having products in the next few months about to come out as well. You know, look at that, look how beautiful that looks. And then everything below that, we just brush it off. Look at that. Boom. And then to do the other side, all you want to do is make it even. Just go ahead, make it even, make it come back at the same exact side, and that's all you do, and we'll proceed with the front lineup after. All right, y'all, whenever you're doing the front line, you always want to start at the top of the teacup. Start at the top, make a straight line, then come back down to the bottom of the teacup, go up. You could curve slightly back a little bit, and then round it out and make both of these two meet. Just like that, and this is how I find this is where my lineup's starting to get a lot more successful, when I started using that technique, starting from the bottom of the C-cup and not just starting in the middle, trying to make both of them match. So we're gonna do right now, make both sides even. It's important to make both sides even whenever you're doing this to your client. We're gonna let this out in the backyard, just so his hair can be in a relaxed state whenever we're done. Put your head up a little bit, boom, get him eye level view. Look at where this started at, go to the other side. Put it in right there, look to see if they're both right. I'm gonna touch this side up a little bit, make sure it's angled right, and then go back in, do the same exact process. And as y'all can see, the front and the back line, it just gives off the same effect, no matter if we use, you know, the lather and the hot towel and stuff like that. It all gives the same effect. Especially like you can skip some of these steps. Sometimes you don't even have to use holding spray or anything like that. If your client's hair is all pretty much washed, as long as you're dealing with a clean canvas. What we're about to do, put our client down, boom, and finish the front lineup. When doing the lineup, you want to determine the strong side or the weak side of your client. You're gonna hold his head about right there, move this over a little bit so I can see, and I can work in a comfortable position. Strong side and weak side, always start in the middle though. Turn him this way, always start in the middle. Use his eyebrows, the middle of his eyebrows is a reference point. And then boom. This middle point will be the connector point and the foundation to both sides of the lineup. And then you want to work to whichever side is the weak side. The weak side is the side that grows the least amount of hair, y'all. But this client right here, his lineup on pretty much both sides is the same way. What we're gonna do, we're obviously going to work towards his right side, only using the right side of my clipper blade. And on his left side, we're gonna use the left side of my trimmer blade, just so that I can line up the previous cut areas. The left side is previously lined up with what I've already cut, just so we can continue to keep the line straight. Because as humans being, you know, our hand, you know, we don't have no perfect straight, steady hands. So the clipper will tend to drag down, and the liner will, you know, tend to not be on the correct path from time to time. So that's how you keep a more steady path. And not every time when you first do a lineup is going to be perfect. Sometimes you got to go back in, make your micro adjustments, and then that's how you get a perfect line. So y'all, you want to practice the correct things, not false things or things that, you know, that's not going to get you where you need to go. They always say, they have a saying that's called practice makes perfect. When I got in basketball, when I played basketball for high school, I found out that practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You could go out there every single day and do a layup and jump off the wrong foot. And you could basically practice that all your life. But it's not the correct way to do it. It's not gonna bring you to success. You wanna practice, you wanna have a perfect practice. You wanna do everything correctly and then practice from that. And then by the time you practice, you know, buku times, now you're gonna be able to do it the correct way. All right, y'all, now we're gonna add some enhancements. We're gonna do light enhancements. The way I like to do it is enhanced but light at the same exact time. So boom, just like two sprays. 2 sprays at a distance. This is how you correctly put on enhancements. 2 sprays at a distance, move on. 2 sprays, move on, move on. Very, very simple, y'all. All right, y'all, we got a mid taper, mid tape fade, temp fade, whatever y'all want to call it, but nice, simple, easy steps. But it's HYB. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like the video. HYB if you're not handling your business, do what you're doing, and we out.
Danny, please don't do anything crazy.